G'day Raiders family, it's Berkey here and welcome to my round 9 preview versus the Dolphins at Wagga Wagga tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock. So look, yeah, probably one of the most, what's the word for it, conflicting and emotional and all those types of weeks that we've had for a while in Canberra territory, that's for sure. Probably haven't seen that upheaval since we lost Ricky and Bradley Clyde and Steve Walters in the late 90s to Canterbury and the North Queensland Cowboys, respectively, if you remember back that far. So a hell of a lot of noise. I'm not going to dwell on it too much here. I'll touch on it at the end of the top 10. But the biggest thing we have to do is get our heads right, and we have to not let the noise affect the rest of our year, which is we're only round 9, guys. We've got 15 rounds to go and nearly 4 months of footy here. We're nudging the top 8. We had the bye last week. We come into the Dolphins and into the Bulldogs next week in Magic Round. So potentially we could be sitting snugly inside the top 8 if our heads switched on and we get this win tomorrow and the win against the Bulldogs. All this stuff's in our hands. But once again, we just can't let the noise infiltrate our thinking. What's happened has happened, but we now have to refocus as the professional players that they are and get these wins tucked in for 2023. So let's start with the Dolphins. They're going to be a side that aren't going to lose this game. We're going to have to win it. The Dolphins have surprised a lot of people across the park. They've got experience all over the place. A lot of people thought they may not have gelled as well as they have, but, they've got some very good combinations in the forwards with the Bromwich brothers and Kafusi. So half of their pack is made up of Melbourne players, and they've been able to gel really well. So the Dolphins will not lose this game. We have to really go out and win it. The Dolphins will play a very boring type of game. They'll try and sweat on our mistakes. They'll kick to the corners. They're going to be solid out of dummy half with Marshall King. They're not going to overplay their hand. Most Wayne Bennett sides, or the individuals more precisely, will have 2 or 3 things drummed into them they have to do well, and that's their assignment to make sure, and that's going to benefit the team. That's how Wayne coaches. He doesn't over exert a player's ability. He gives them 2 or 3 things to work on, and if they do those things to their potential, then the whole team collective gets a lot of momentum. So we're going to have to win this game because the Dolphins aren't going to lose it. Their halves in Katoa and Nikorima, solid. Nikorima will play left edge in attack. So that's going to hit our right edge, which is probably not our strongest edge in defence with Jamal, Elliott, Jared and Raps. But once again, the thing with their halves, we have to put pressure on them. Katoa's a young kid. Nikorima's been in and out of A grade. So we just have to make sure that when those guys have the ball, we put them on their backside. We don't hang off. We don't stargaze. We get up in their eyeballs and really make them play quickly and get them off their rhythm. If we stand back and watch, they can dictate turn plays inside, grubber kicks and the like. So we just have to make sure we get up in their face because these 2 guys will control a hell of a lot of the area of their game for the Dolphins in attack. The other big area I've been impressed about with the Dolphins, which, looking at tomorrow's game, is their bench. Jared Wallace, State of Origin player, Ray Stone, underrated from Parramatta, and Herman Sasa, ex-Broncos and Newcastle. Sasa in particular, when he comes off the bench, big guy. Even with 2 or 3 tackles on him, he's been able to pop the ball out the back. So their bench is giving them a lot of punch. Bench players just can't come on and maintain the status quo. They have to lift the intensity. They have to lift the energy. They have to drag the rest of the guys who aren't getting replaced, who are a little bit tired, along for the ride and make them get that second win or that second or third effort as quickly as possible. So the Dolphins bench is going to be a real test for us. So, Tommy, Emre, Pasami and Corey, they have to match it and go the next level when they come on to make sure that also invigorates our players as well. So let's come to us, shall we? Number 4, momentum. Probably the bye hasn't come at the best of times. Great win over the Broncos, solid win over the Dragons, then into the bye, all the jack upheaval. So it's just probably stagnated us a little bit. But if we can keep the momentum going, we've got the Dolphins tomorrow. Then we have the Bulldogs in Magic Round who have got a number of injuries. So we can really sit inside the top 8 which will be an awesome effort. So those are sort of things that has to happen. We need to keep that momentum going of games that we should be winning. We have to win. Number 5, Tabuai Fido. So I've gone for him at number 5. So most importantly with our kicking game to him is don't kick to him when we're kicking downfield. We need to pick out a winger. Tabuai Fido, when he rings the ball back with a fractured line, can be very dangerous. If we can kick to a winger, get our defensive line set, and he gets the first ruck, he's not going to have much oxygen to look for someone who's tied in the defensive line. So really important in our kicking game down to the Dolphins that we look for the corners and the wingers and make him bring that first ruck off the play the ball back into our defensive line. And particularly late in the half, he'll be sniffing around the rucks looking for, once again, a tied marker or a tied forward. Marshall King in particular will try and open us up around the rucks and look for Tabuai Fido either side, hovering around Marshall King. So we've just got to make sure we keep our eyes. He's their most dangerous attacking weapon with his half breaks. Number 6 is the grind. I think if we can get into a really solid grind with the Dolphins tomorrow, with the type of players we have, the caliber of players we have, we can really grind this match out. It may not be a high-scoring affair, but if we can get to that grind, which we have done over previous years, I think we can wear the Dolphins down for a win. One thing the Dolphins don't like is a lot of sides don't like is offloads. So, the likes of Corey Horsburgh, Josh Papali, Tarpany, if we can get some second phase play happening against the Dolphins, they don't like it. Most sides don't, particularly the likes of the Bromwich boys, Kafusi. Those guys are big men. They don't like making second or third efforts. So if we can get some offloads happening, I think we're going to be in really, really good stead. Number 8, I've gone Jamal. I just think off the back of his game against the Broncos and particularly against St. George, I just want to see him run the side and continue that running of the side to get us around the field. Just let Jack run. Jack's got enough on his mind now for the rest of the year. I think Jamal just needs to take this side now by the scruff of the neck, which is what he's paid for, and get us around the park. His kicking game has been very good the last couple of weeks. His organisation of attack, his defensive efforts have been really, really solid as well, particularly last week on that edge of Sully and Jaden Sewer. His defensive reads were really, really good. So I just want to see Jamal just run the show now. Number 9, I've gone for our back 5. I just feel our back 5 with Raps back is very strong. Sebastian, Hopewadi, Croker, Timoko, and Rapana. Big bodies. We've got a lot of weight there. I think our back 5 can really muscle up and get us out of a lot of trouble with those kick returns. If they can get us back to the 30 or 40 line from a kick return, it just gives us a bit more breathing space to get our attacking line set and really gets the Dolphins on the back foot with those back 5 making good meters. Number 10, we just have to win. Obviously, with the Jack situation, the best way to counteract that type of noise is to win. The last thing we need on Sunday or Monday is a loss, and the media once again is saying the Whiten effect had an impact on the side, or the disruption to the Canberra side the last week is causing to play poorly. Those sort of headlines are ready to be written either Sunday or Monday if we lose. If we just keep winning, or particularly win tomorrow, it's just going to die down a lot of the noise, die down a lot of the conjecture, and just make sure that we get back to where we should be. So a win is really, really important tomorrow. So, guys, that's it for my top 10. As always, hook me up on Facebook, on Twitter. I love the conversations. Reach out with any queries or chats you'd want to have. Looking forward to this game tomorrow, guys. I think we can certainly get the chocolates if we play really smart, really basic, clever football against a Dolphins side, once, as I said, who aren't going to lose it. We have to beat them in those trenches. So, guys, as always, this is Bourkeys, Bleed Green, out.